Thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Senate has confirmed the nomination of 5 persons for appointment as Secretary and members of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. This followed the consideration of the report of Senate Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes, which screened the nominees. The report presented by Chairman of the committee, Sulaiman Abdul Kwari, observed that the committee members were satisfied with the nominees' qualifications and suitability. Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari has written to Senate requesting the consideration of the 2022 to 2024 revised medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, which has increased the 2022 budget from 13.98 trillion naira to 16.45 trillion.
Ekongu, Secretary to the Commission. 2. Lukman Mohammed, Board Member. 3. Anumba Adeze, Board Member. 4. Alhaji Kola Rahim Adeshino, Board Member. And finally, Alhaji Ahaya Mohammed, also as Board Member.
The PIA establishes a progressive fiscal framework aimed at encouraging investment in the Nigerian petroleum industry. This significantly alters the oil and gas fiscal terms and has necessitated changes in the 2022 to 2024 medium-term fiscal framework.
Presidential letters explained that the revised MTEF is to reflect the fiscal provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act and to provide additional funds for critical expenditures such as the 2023 general elections, national poverty reduction, police allowances, and public service wage adjustment. The President also sought Senate's confirmation of Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf as Chief Judge for the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. The House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence wants emerging trends in the world of crime and criminals to be treated comprehensively as a curricular in security-related training institutions. The Chairman, House Committee on National Security and Intelligence, said this during an oversight to the National Institute of Security Studies, Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Capacity building for personnel of the various security agencies in the country is of priority. The House Committee on National Security and Intelligence stressed that development in the world of crime has put security operatives to task, adding that considering these challenges, training institutions must impart to trainees knowledge that will put them steps ahead of criminals.
It is the committee's conviction that if these expectations are met, a large number of ridiculous security gaps will have been addressed. The Institute is therefore expected to train and retrain our security operatives on scientific and modern investigative techniques.
Leadership of the Institute said collaboration is among effective strategies to clamp down on criminals at the stage of planning.
This year we're having about 24 agencies of government. The military, the police, the custom, everybody is here. So we expect that in the next 3 years, they should be heading their agencies. And this is what collaboration, synergy. We don't need to wait for me to write to your agency to respond to any security challenge.
Those attending this EIMC program, when they finish, they go to University of Ilorin to complete that because most of our programs are tailored with that of University of Ilorin.
NISS was first established as a training school and upgraded to an institute in 2019 by an act of the National Assembly. Lami Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has adopted a resolution urging authorities to take urgent and drastic measures to combat elements terrorizing people in Anambra State. The resolution was in response to a motion from Representative Chris Azubogo, who escaped death by the whiskers last Thursday, but one of his drivers lost his life following an attack on his convoy along Niwe Nobi Road. The House noted recent killing of Dr. Chike Akoinle, husband of late Dora Akoinle, and 8 others in the suburb of Onitsha, including the attack on the DSS and FRSC offices in Newi last Sunday, 3rd of October 2021. The lawmakers expressed concern that such events could snowball into a crisis in the entire southeast. The House therefore urged deployment of security machinery to contain the menace. In another development, Representative Roland Igbaka, coming on the matter of privilege, has called on the federal government to make public name of the National Assembly member said to be involved in sponsoring terrorism. Meanwhile, House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila read a plenary a presidential communication requesting consideration and approval of revised MTEF FSP 2022 to 2024. With barely 1 month to the Anambra governorship election, INEC is worried over the escalating security in the state. In order to provide a secured environment for the exercise, the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security is reviewing its strategies. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, however, is optimistic that no amount of threat will deter the Commission from conducting the election.
The stated goal of many of the attackers is that the governorship election scheduled for the 6th of November 2021 must not hold. This is worrisome for the Commission. We are deeply concerned that specific electoral facilities and materials could once more become targets of attack. We will continue to work with the security agencies and in consultation with respected opinion leaders in Anambra State and the National Peace Committee to ensure that these hit-and-run attacks do not derail the electoral process. We wish to assure the people of Anambra State that the Commission is determined to proceed with the election as scheduled.
I wish to state that the Office of the National Security Advisor is working assiduously with relevant security and intelligence agencies toward arresting the foregoing ugly trend and other associated security challenges in the Southeast Zone and beyond.
Arek Bashola was among those that attended the meeting. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says government will no longer negotiate with bandits on the terms for voluntary surrender. Speaking on the renewed onslaught against banditry on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, the minister commended the cooperation among the Northwest governors as well as measures put in place to stall the activities of the criminals.
If an intermediary comes to a governor with a bandit and the bandit says he has repented, blah, 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 probably you want to believe him. But today, I don't think any of those governors will deal with any bandit on terms of, surrender or no surrender. No. If you want to surrender, surrender voluntarily. We're not going to negotiate with you. And I think the measures that have been taken today are actually, they're actually working. Yes, we agree that there's the issue of, enforceability of these measures. But the fact that the measures themselves make it impossible or difficult for them to purchase motorcycles. Motorcycle is one of their greatest assets. Makes it impossible for them to, even exchange information. Make it difficult, not impossible for them to take. Or even when they succeed in kidnapping people, it's a bit more difficult for them now to even ask for ransom. And the fact that the cattle markets have been closed, so if you rustle cattle, what do you want to do with it? I think if we give these, measures, more time, they'll begin to even yield more positive results. But I agree with you absolutely that everybody must really be, his brother's keeper.
Minister, who traced banditry-related violence in Nigeria back to 1911, reiterated that the Buhari administration is determined to wipe out banditry, which is why it has gone on to recruit 3,000 vigilantes to join the fight against banditry. And still on crime prevention, the General Officer commanding 81 Division Nigerian Army Major General Lawrence Fejuko says this year's Operation Stillwater is targeted at boosting troops' professionalism and their capacity in tackling security challenges in the country. He stated this in Abuja, Ogun State, at the flag-off ceremony of the exercise. Yemi Dalimo reports.
Major General Fejoku, who was represented by Brigade Commander 35 Artillery Brigade Alamala, Brigadier General Adewale Adekoya, said the exercise will, among other objectives, engage the troops in operational training to boost their capacity in tackling insecurity, threatening the security of the country. He advised the public not to panic as the exercise will involve use of military equipment and movement of troops within Lagos and Ogun State.
This exercise will arrest and hand over to law enforcement agencies that are to deal with whatever criminal vices they are arrested or detained for.
We are giving a big notice to any hoodlum, anybody who thought he wants to do any nefarious act, to say stop it.
Free medical services were also rendered for the residents of the host communities at the flag-off of the exercise, which comes to an end on Friday, December 24th, 2021. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalimo, NTA News.
And for more reports on Nationwide, let's head to Lagos, where Hengino is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Hengino.
Hello, Elizabeth. About 80 inmates at the Ikoyi Correctional Facility in Lagos have been presented to the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy. Amaka reports that the process is to help decongest the prisons.
The Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy, under the chairmanship of the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, is currently visiting correctional centers within the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. This is to review cases of inmates presented by correctional centers for consideration and recommendation for presidential pardon.
We actually have to interview inmates and see those who qualify to be granted presidential pardon by Mr. President. We actually started with Kuje. We were reconvened on the 28th of September. You cannot determine. It depends on if they meet up with the criteria. If they fall under the criteria, then they can be considered for pardon.
The committee is mandated to handle only federal offenses. Okay. All right. Like, well, we have issues of oil bunkering. That's, we have issues of kidnapping, terrorism.
For the Ikoyi Correctional Center, some criteria for selection of inmates include those critically ill, the aged, and those who have exceeded 10 years, among others.
This place now, it was built with a capacity of 800, and presently we are locking 2,500. Apparently, we are locking above capacity.
The committee is expected to review a total of 200 cases from the correctional facilities in Lagos. Amaka O, NTA News.
The days of criminality in several parts of the country will soon be a thing of the past as the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, flags off exercise Still Waters in Lagos, the southwestern part of the country. Lynn Leneke reports that similar exercises were flagged off nationwide, codenamed Golden Dawn and Enduring Peace in the southwest, south-south and southeast regions.
The Chief of Army Staff, who was represented by the General Officer commanding 81 Division, said exercise Stillwater is replacing exercise Crocodile Smile to check crime and criminality in Lagos and Ogun states. He stressed that the exercise, which involves other security agencies, is expected to rid the states of criminal elements to pave the way for a crime-free Yuletide in December. The GOC 81 Division, however, urged the public not to entertain fear as coming days will witness moving of troops out of Lagos. The exercise is also designed to effectively sharpen the skills of participating troops on the conduct of internal security operations.
There's also a continuation of the joint training with other sister services and other security agencies. We cannot see things going wrong and say because we are conducting an exercise, we close our eyes to it. It's the more reason why we clamp down on such security institutions, all to ensure that we have a safe environment.
The exercise area put in place by the 9th Brigade for the exercise Still Waters was later inspected. Free medical checkup and consultation was also flagged off to enhance military-civilian relations in Oshodi access of the exercise area. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
It's now time for our first commercial break. Elizabeth in Abuja will be back after that.
The federal government has commenced second phase of COVID-19 vaccination. If you are 18 years and above and unvaccinated, register at www.nphcda.vaccination.gov.ng. Visit the nearest vaccination site to receive AstraZeneca or Moderna COVID-19 vaccine as first dose. If you received your first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine before 8th July, get your second dose now. All COVID-19 vaccines are free and certified safe. At the vaccination site, you can check blood pressure and know your diabetes risk status. Children aged 0 to 23 months will receive childhood vaccines and screened for malnutrition. After vaccination, continue to adhere to COVID-19 prevention protocols. For more information, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
At 61, how far has Nigeria fared in its developmental strides, along with the challenges of nationhood? That's our focus on NTA Tuesday Alive this week, with the 61st Independence celebration still in the air. Tuesday Alive, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative. Join us.
The broadcast media ecosystem is dynamic and requires continuous training for practitioners to perform optimally. NTA TV College JOS invites relevant officers to the following specially packaged training programs. Archival Management System in the Broadcast Media, date 11th October to 29th October 2021, 3 weeks. Intermediate Presentation Techniques, date 11th October to 22nd October 2021, 2 weeks. Digital Satellite, Microwave, and RF Technologies, date 11th October to 15th October 2021, 1 week. Advanced Broadcast Accounting and Auditing, date 25th October to 5th November 2021, 2 weeks. Photojournalism and Photography, date 8th November to 26th November 2021, 3 weeks. Transmitter Operation and Maintenance, date 1st November to 5th November 2021, 1 week. The course fee for the 3-week course is 130,000 naira per participant, while the fee for the 2-week course and the 1-week engineering courses is 100,000 naira only per participant, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
Iheanacho near post and scores.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria will look to continue their excellent start to the World Cup qualifiers when they take on Leithove of Central African Republic. Will Leithove pull off a shock on the home soil of the Super Eagles? It's Nigeria versus Central African Republic at the Tesla Balogun Stadium in Lagos, Nigeria on the 7th of October, showing on the network service of the NTA and AIT from 4:30 p.m. with live radio broadcasts on Cool FM, Wazobia FM and Nigeria Info. You can also join online at sporty.com and NPFL TV. The FIFA World Cup qualifiers are proudly brought to you by BetNiger and supported by MTN, Coca-Cola and Dettol, proud sponsors of the Super Eagles.
You're still watching Nationwide on NTA. The federal government says it is ready to extend a helping hand to South Sudan towards enhancing the country's political and economic stability. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the assurance by granting audience to the South Sudanese leader, President Salva Kiir, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president has since returned to Abuja.
President Muhammadu Buhari said the full support of Nigeria will be given to all efforts towards bringing long-term stability and prosperity to the continent as well as the development of South Sudan. He asked President Salva Kiir to take Nigeria into confidence in his request for assistance, stressing the need for cooperation amongst developing countries. The Nigerian leader said with investments in education, improved economy and healthcare, things will surely improve. On the situation in Guinea and Mali, President Buhari reiterated the need for African leaders to support efforts geared towards the return of democracy in the countries. President Salva Kiir had earlier acknowledged Nigeria's leadership role in Africa, appreciating the country's efforts in the liberation struggle of South Sudan.
He went back a memory lane and highlighted all the support that Nigeria has provided to South Sudan and continues to, and thanked Mr. President very much for it. He gave a situation report of not just what's happening in South Sudan, but also in Sudan itself, and even the role that he is playing as a mediator now in Sudan. And together they agreed that there was a need to work together to address the security challenges in West Africa and in East and Central Africa. Another point he mentioned was also the role that the First Lady of Nigeria is playing in supporting orphans in South Sudan, and asked Mr. President to extend his thanks to the First Lady for that.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to Abuja from Ethiopia, where he attended the inauguration of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed for a second term in office. He was received on arrival at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello, Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba, and the Director General, Department of State Services, Yusuf Magaji Bichi. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Now, in commemoration of the World Teachers' Day, the Armed Forces advocate improved remuneration for teachers to attract best hands to the profession. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, Stephanos Musa, said this at an event to mark the 2021 Teachers' Day. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Teachers are often described as one of the major pillars of education and catalyst to socio-economic development.
The fact that education is the mother of all professions. The doctors, engineers, lawyers have to go through a teacher before they become who they are.
To honor these noble professionals, the Ministry of Defense, with 113 primary and secondary schools across the country, is taking part in the annual celebration.
Let me first of all appreciate Mr. President for what he has done by increasing the number of years for teachers to retire at 40 years in service or 65 years in service, which gives them opportunity to retain their wealth of experience in the teaching job. However, I would also like a situation where our teachers will be the highest paid set of workers in the civil service, for us to attract the quality hands that will be involved in teaching.
It's an amazing program. This is a kind of clarion call for us to be able to sit up to deliver.
I feel excited. I feel happy that teachers can also be recognized, that they are also doing something in their various fields.
Teachers were rewarded for hard work and innovation at the event. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And as we celebrate teachers across the globe for their efforts in building and nurturing the foundation of knowledge, Abdul Malik Hassan reports on the sacrifices they make for a decent tomorrow.
When we have 24 sounds and we have 15 voices.
This is the kind of stress teachers go through to impact knowledge on their students. Now, imagine teaching over 30 students in a classroom and making sure all understand the context of the subject. Okpeifa Olasukomi has been an English teacher of Government Day Secondary School Karu for 13 years. He experiences the sweet, bitter taste of his profession.
As a young teacher then, one of the things that really affected me or was a major challenge was my stature. I mean, you just imagine you mixing in the classroom and they are still looking for the teacher everywhere. So, and people tend to ask me that, how are you coping with it? I said, the classroom is not a boxing ring. He who has the knowledge has the authority. And as a young teacher, innovative for that matter, you want to do something different so that the knowledge can go to the students straight. So I started inventing new things. For instance, okay, I had no computer in my classroom now, and I wanted to teach oral English. Of course, there's no way you can teach oral English with textbooks. So I had to think of another way out. So I started using rap song. So some of those sounds there, I could say Badaga, Mana, Larawaya, Badaza. So the student would be like, wow, Mr. Kwefa, what are you doing? I said, well, we are rapping this thing because we don't have the materials to use. And it was helping.
One may say the joyous part of teaching is to receive an overwhelming response from students. And these students have a clear attestation of Okpeifa.
People love him, and he's not a teacher that is very over strict, and also he does not tolerate indiscipline. He gives many efforts in teaching his students, and he has many educational facilities, he brings many new innovations in order to make the class so interesting.
It really helps us a lot because sometimes they even make time out of no time to come and teach us. Sometimes they make extra lessons for us.
For the love of teaching, Okpeifa went as far as creating a digital hub in the school to simplify his lessons.
The basic joy and the type I had last week is this: if you have a very dull student and with whatever method you use and you are checking the other side of that student and the student is giving you results, I mean, that's been my wonderful joy.
He is just one out of the thousands of teachers who have dedicated their lives to impacting knowledge on the society through teaching, and experts believe they deserve to be celebrated, even though no amount of reward can quantify their sacrifices. Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
And for more reports on the Teachers' Day, let's join Chinenye in our Enugu studio. Hello, Chinenye.
Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome to Enugu. As teachers in Enugu State join their counterparts the world over to celebrate Teachers' Day, Enugu State government says it is committed to the improvement of education and welfare of teachers in the state. Chidi Okorafo reports.
The World Teachers' Day is celebrated on the 5th of October every year, the world over, to commemorate when the recommendations of UNESCO on the status of teachers were signed into law. It provides opportunity for government to appraise issues relating to the welfare of teachers and the development of education generally. Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi noted that teachers in the state have shown support to his administration and promised to continue to improve on their welfare. Chairman Nigerian Union of Teachers, Enugu State Chapter, and others spoke on the significance of the day.
What is good for the geese is also good for the gander. Workers in the primary school, they suffer a lot, as we know very well. They are the foundation of education, so they should benefit even before any other worker in the state.
There's a lot of challenges facing teachers, be it in primary or secondary.
The theme for the 2021 World Teachers' Day is Teachers at the Heart of Education Recovery. This seeks to recognize teachers' tireless efforts, even during the lockdowns and the COVID-19 pandemic era. In Enugu, Chidi Okorafo, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps Anambra State Command has flagged off this year's Ember Month campaign. The event, which held in Onitsha, is to sensitize the public on safe driving attitudes that will check road crashes. Udo Okoronkwochukwu has details.
That was the official flag-off of the program in Anambra State with the theme, maintain self-speed, avoid night travels and enjoy quality road. The Corps Commander Adoye Ireluwi described safe speed as a speed less than the maximum at which a motorist can take proper and effective action to avoid collision or danger.
Many inexperienced young drivers are on the roads at night and do not have the skills and concentration that comes with experience. Elderly drivers need more light to see as well as the younger drivers.
The Zonal Commanding Officer, Andrew Kumakpai, said the corps will create awareness and scale up 24 hours traffic surveillance around all the roads in the zone and urge for compliance to all COVID-19 protocols, while personnel will be deployed to maintain quality road experience during the Yuletide. The government of Anambra State reiterates its commitment towards ensuring safety of lives and property in the coming months, more so as the state is preparing for her gubernatorial elections.
The government, in partnership with the road safety, is saying that we all must maintain very safe speed and avoid traveling at night.
The event, which attracted sister security agencies, unit commanders, and members of road transport unions, was used to sensitize road users on safety measures. Inoka, Udo Okoronkwochukwu, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Enugu. Nationwide continues with Felicia in Jos after this commercial break. Do stay.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Near post and scores.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria will look to continue their excellent start to the World Cup qualifiers when they take on Leythove of Central African Republic. Will Leythove pull off a shock on the home soil of the Super Eagles? It's Nigeria versus Central African Republic at the Tesla Balogun Stadium in Lagos, Nigeria on the 7th of October, showing on the network service of the NTA and AIT from 4:30 p.m. with live radio broadcasts on Cool FM, Wazobia FM and Nigeria Info. You can also join online at sporty.com and NPFL TV. The FIFA World Cup qualifiers are proudly brought to you by BetNiger and supported by MTN, Coca-Cola and Dettol, proud sponsors of the Super Eagles.
Thank you. Welcome to Jos. Plateau State Governor Simon Bako Lalong has restated his administration's commitment to revamping the education sector and creating conducive atmosphere for teachers to perform optimally. The governor was speaking at the maiden edition of the Governor's Teachers and Schools Excellence Award to commemorate the annual World Teachers Day held at the Plateau State Secretariat, Jos. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
The first Governor's Teachers and Schools Excellence Award, coming at the heels of the World Teachers Day, is organized to celebrate the hard work, dedication, and commitment of teachers to the development of the education sector in Plateau State. It is in this light that some teachers from the public and private schools were presented award for their outstanding performances.
I'll continue putting my best to the very day that I leave the global profession.
I've never known that people are on the ground seeing what I'm doing.
Governor Simon Lalong salutes the courage and resilience of teachers, describing them as asset to his administration and pledges to improve their welfare. As this year's World Teachers' Day is celebrated amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the governor calls on all teachers and other relevant stakeholders to be proactive in making lasting impact towards regaining lost ground.
About 1,000 academic and 1,000 non-academic staff will be recruited to add to the already existing teachers in the state.
Commissioner for Secondary Education Elizabeth Wapmuk commends the efforts of government in prioritizing education, which she says has enhanced teaching and learning and also improved the performance of students. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
In its efforts to ensuring safety of lives and property, the Federal Road Safety Corps Plateau State Command has flagged off its annual Ember Months campaign at Plateau Riders Motor Park to sensitize motorists on dangers associated with the highways. Caleb Gochin reports.
It is a fact that the last 4 months of the year are associated with road crashes, injuries and deaths due to largely reckless driving. To reduce these to the barest minimum, the Federal Road Safety Corps flags off its Ember Month campaign with a call on motorists to always be alert when driving, avoid phone calls, overspeeding as well as overloading.
Overload is eating deep into the bone marrow of quite a number of them. Even when they leave the park, picking the number of passengers they are supposed to pick. And unfortunately, when they go out there, they begin to pick people on what they call attachment.
The road is very patient, but it does not forgive. We must all put our hands on deck to ensure that we are not caught up in the web of road traffic crash.
It is left for all of us, the operators, to put in our best so that we can save lives.
There were goodwill messages from the state government and other stakeholders.
We have recently signed memorandum of understanding with a private company for the establishment of computerized vehicle inspection centers in the state.
As part of the event, commuters had a free medical checkup as they were advised to adhere to the COVID-19 safety protocols, especially when traveling. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. Elizabeth, is back to you in Abuja.
Thank you, Felicia. Nigeria has made significant progress on economic diversification in recent years through the federal government's support of critical sectors such as agriculture and ICT. This is the consensus of members of the business community in Abuja during their engagement with the African Peer Review Mission towards the validation of Nigeria's country self-assessment report. Mitari Ikmin reports.
The fact that Nigeria is opened for transparent assessment of its governance processes is considered heartwarming by the African Peer Review Mission.
Very few presidents take this bold step to allow the other countries to come and review their policies.
The new 2020 KAMA law makes stringent provisions for transparency in the leadership, board and finances of corporate organizations, including not-for-profit organizations.
On corporate governance and ease of doing business, key players applauded the Nigerian government for matching words with action and moving away from over-dependence on oil within a short time.
The CBN loan has assisted some of the farmers to be able to get funds. Payment of the loan has been extended. The interest rate, a lot of issues have been waived.
Doing business becomes an easy approach. Coming into the country to set up business becomes an easy approach. And I think technology is also helping.
We have pieced our information together, even from the market women, the rural dwellers.
The validation of the country self-assessment report will produce a new national plan of action.
It will consolidate our gains of democracy, proffer solution to it, and be able to champion a way forward for our future.
The APROM team will also compare notes with other sectors in the coming days and weeks. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Social media platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram were shut down owing to an internal technical glitch. That's according to Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg, who tendered an apology for the failure, said there was no foul play. Information and Communications Technology correspondent Joseph Johnson reports.
For whatever reasons, the fact is, billions of people globally were for several hours, 6 hours actually, denied access to some social media platforms owned by an individual, Mark Zuckerberg. The social media platforms include Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram. While some Nigerians frown at the development, especially as businesses were negatively impacted, some others say it is high time Nigeria fast-tracked the development of indigenous apps and patronized them.
I'm used to Instagram and I don't even know how I managed the situation. I wasn't like, this phone is useless, so I just dropped my phone because I don't see any need holding it when Instagram is not working and also WhatsApp is not working.
It's not, to me it's not good. At that 6 hours, it's so disturbing. So I think the Facebook management have to do something fast about it so that it will not occur again.
It didn't really speak well for some persons, people that are online content creator and all of that. Yeah. And there's another aspect to it that we must see is that we have attached this thing to our existence.
It was a bit frustrating because I could not access it.
It was like the world is going to an end or something. Because yesterday I was like, oversight is not even coming safe. That everybody should just be happy. So that's how I felt yesterday.
Although the services have since been restored, but the development, many say, has shown how human interactions today are at the mercy of tech giants. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
I sincerely agree with one of the respondents. Now, talking health, the National Executive Council of the Joint Health Sector Unions, JOHESU, an assembly of healthcare professional associations, has agreed that the strike billed to begin midnight of October 4 be put on hold until the outcome of the meeting with the federal government scheduled for the 6th of October. The NEC, in a communique signed by the acting National Secretary on behalf of JOHESU National Chairman, says the union's leadership reasoned that it was necessary to give the federal government a conducive environment to present an update on the 6th of October on developments with regards to the major demands of JOHESU, especially in the area of adjustment of CONHES, as it was done with CONMES for doctors. The communique commended the federal government for the marginal paradigm shift in resolving some of its demands, particularly as it relates to the ongoing payment of outstanding COVID-19 special inducement and hazard allowance. JOHESU added that in a bid to avoid an endless circus show, the Wednesday, October 6, 2021 meeting will be the ultimate litmus test to evaluate the seriousness of the government in resolving the adjustment of CONHES, which has lingered. Let's now join Debabari in our Port Harcourt studio for more reports. Hello, Debabari.
Elizabeth, and welcome to Port Harcourt. Many families in Abuja East local government area have benefited from Nigerian Army Operation Stillwater medical outreach in the area. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Auda, like many Nigerian settlements, is an agrarian community where life expectancy is at 56, going by the United Nations Population Fund statistics. Many families struggle to survive, and medical care is seen as luxury among the local population. The Nigerian Army Operation Stillwater Medical Outreach is here to change the situation for the locals.
The exercise will be based on real-time intelligence on the prevailing security threats and dovetail into real operations to checkmate various criminalities as the Yuletide season approaches.
Collaborative efforts between the Nigerian Army and other security agencies in tackling security threats across the state have also improved, but more needs to be done.
73-year-old Madam Florence Ube's dashed hope is rekindled for medical care in a community where hunger, poverty, and lack of medical facility are prevalent.
Go villages, some women that die hunger, children that have nothing to eat. All this now, my person will don't get money to buy any other thing again.
The medical outreach is part of the Nigerian Army annual campaign in collaboration with other paramilitary agencies fight against crime and criminality in the last quarter of the year. From Ahoda in Ahoda East local government area, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Reducing or increasing cases of kidney-related deaths among children in Nigeria is achievable if government scales up the National Health Insurance Scheme to cover treatment of kidney diseases in children, including kidney transplantation. Speaking at the 84th inaugural lecture of the University of Uyo, a professor of pediatrics nephrology, Enobong Ikbeme, said the high cost of kidney-related treatment has gone beyond the reach of an average Nigerian. Clement Barikwe reports.
Research have shown that in Uyo alone, nephrology syndrome is the commonest childhood renal disease, with a prevalence of 38.3%, thereby confirming that children are more susceptible to kidney diseases, particularly when placed on wrong or improper medications. Worse still, the cost of dialysis is high due to low local production of peritoneal dialysis fluid and dialysis supplies. Professor Enobong Ikpeme believes though kids' kidneys do not kid, and when they do, working with them is an arduous journey, it is possible to address this through legislation, equipping the health facilities, and taking medications based on prescriptions.
There exists a vast array of conditions that can make kidneys susceptible to injury, even to the extent of irreversible damage. Genetic conditions, environmental factors, lifestyle, and various disease processes play major roles.
Vice Chancellor University of Uyo, Professor Nyaudo Ndayo, said the 84th inaugural lecture was chosen to find ways of addressing some of the health challenges facing mankind, particularly children.
Even though it is kidney, it's about the kid. But they do the same job as those ones that are matured. They do the same job as those ones that have experience.
The inaugural lecture had as its topic, Kids' Kidneys Do Not Kid, Walking an Arduous Journey. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. Is back to Elizabeth for the rest of the news.
Thank you so much, Debabari. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
The federal government has commenced second phase of COVID-19 vaccination. If you are 18 years and above and unvaccinated, register at www.nphcda.vaccination.gov.ng. Visit the nearest vaccination site to receive AstraZeneca or Moderna COVID-19 vaccine as first dose. If you received your first dose of AstraZeneca vaccine before 8th July, get your second dose now. All COVID-19 vaccines are free and certified safe. At the vaccination site, you can check blood pressure and know your diabetes risk status. Children aged 0 to 23 months will receive childhood vaccines and screened for malnutrition. After vaccination, continue to adhere to COVID-19 prevention protocols. For more information, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
At 61, how far has Nigeria fared in its developmental strides, along with the challenges of nationhood? That's our focus on NTA Tuesday Alive this week, with the 61st Independence celebration still in the air. Tuesday Alive, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative. Join us.
The broadcast media ecosystem is dynamic and requires continuous training for practitioners to perform optimally. NTA TV College JOS invites relevant officers to the following specially packaged training programs: Archival Management System in the Broadcast Media. Date 11th October to 29th October 2021, 3 weeks. Intermediate Presentation Techniques. Date 11th October to 22nd October 2021, 2 weeks. Digital Satellite, Microwave, and RF Technologies. Date 11th October to 15th October 2021, 1 week. Advanced Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 25th October to 5th November 2021, 2 weeks. Photojournalism and Photography. Date 8th November to 26th November 2021, 3 weeks. Transmitter Operation and Maintenance. Date 1st November to 5th November 2021, 1 week. The course fee for the 3-week course is 130,000 naira per participant, while the fee for the 2-week course and the 1-week engineering courses is 100,000 naira only per participant, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more information, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
Iheanacho near post and scores.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria will look to continue their excellent start to the World Cup qualifiers when they take on Leithove of Central African Republic. Will Leithove pull off a shock on the home soil of the Super Eagles? It's Nigeria versus Central African Republic at the Tesla Balogun Stadium in Lagos, Nigeria on the 7th of October, showing on the network service of the NTA and AIT from 4:30 p.m. with live radio broadcast on Cool FM, Wazobia FM and Nigeria Info. You can also join online at sporting.com and NPFL TV. The FIFA World Cup qualifiers are proudly brought to you by BetNiger and supported by MTN, Coca-Cola and Dettol, proud sponsors of the Super Eagles.
Thanks, Sustain. More than 157 billion naira is annually lost to pension fraud, development that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission says it is determined to eradicate.
Pension fraud is said to have denied many Nigerian retirees the rest they deserve after spending their productive years serving the country. This workshop, organized by the EFCC, is aimed at addressing that, with stakeholders being trained to tackle the issue head-on.
This workshop to enable us to engage with relevant stakeholders and come up with, recommendations that charter, the way forward, for us in this industry. It's a problem. It's something that is unacceptable for people that have contributed so much, for the betterment of this country during their youthful age, and then for them to be retired and then they don't have anything to fall back to.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says government is ready to do all it takes to put stop to this menace.
This government is very conscious of its responsibility with regards to payment of pensions to eligible retirees in the federal public sector. For this reason, we are resolute in dealing with the criminal act of pension fraud in all its manifestations, especially those resulting from human interface.
The two-day workshop is expected to set the stage for a holistic approach to ending pension fraud in the country.
Next is sports.
Goodness, strike this into the net.